Hello and welcome to Fin Business. We are here exploring some very interesting ideas at SciBoss 2018. I would like to welcome James Pryor, who is the Business and Commercialization Manager of UNSW, that is University of New South Wales, Canberra campus. Hello James, welcome to Fin Business.
And thank you very much for this invitation.
So James, you have been speaking about spacecrafts and their relation to the banking and financial services sector. So how has the evolution of the space industry been, especially when you are trying to link it with the financial services sector? What exactly are you doing in SciBoss in this relation?
It's a good question, and it's a question that we have been asked regularly by the attendees here as to what on earth is a space company or entity doing at a financial conference. Now, I guess the SciBoss event organisers have asked for several universities to attend the showcasing new and evolving technologies in various key areas. And space is certainly one of those areas. Space is evolving. We've gone from old space, which is where you have very, very large spacecraft the size of potentially cars and buses, and cost hundreds of millions of dollars to launch, develop and launch, to new space, which is the area that we are most interested in. And this new space is satellites that can be the size of a shoebox up to maybe the size of, for example, a washing machine. And new space is bringing down the barrier of entry, and so universities are actively looking at new space capabilities because the costs involved in actually putting spacecraft into orbit, developing new technologies, and actually creating new companies is now much, much easier. And that's, I guess, the area that we're most interested in, and we're actively looking at how new space can play a role in the financial industry. And so we're here during this conference to really ask people who are walking past our booth, and as we're just walking around, trying to understand what are the gaps in the market, what are the weaknesses, and trying to understand ourselves what role can new space play in the financial industry.
What exactly do you see from your last 2 days of experience with the bankers? What are the new areas where the banking industry and the space industry can work together with?
So certainly many people may not stop to think about this, but already the finance and the banking industry are completely reliant on space assets to date. Whether it's communication or even the timing of transactions, it's all based on space. And so we're seeing new opportunities for especially secure communication, whether that's with a thing called quantum key distribution, which is a very secure form of communication for financial transactions. That's one area that we're investigating. But there's also the speed of transactions. So our satellites are in what's called a low Earth orbit, which is about 300 to 600 kilometres up, and with that you are much closer to Earth. And there's potential that the speed of transactions can actually occur faster as well. These are just a couple of the small things that we're looking at, and even though they're small, they can potentially have a very large impact for the financial industry. But there's also applications around blockchain, distributed networks. We're trying to understand how, data and data analytics and onboard processing on the spacecraft can also play a role in the financial industry. And we're actively trying to understand what those areas will be going forward.
Fantastic. So, any interesting applications in customer experience also have you seen in this entire study of yours, or have you experienced some speed of transactions and stuff like that as well?
For us at the moment, so it's an interesting story that we have. We are currently working on 4 satellites. We've launched one, which is operational at the moment. We have another one that's due to be launched in 1 month's time for America, and then we have another 2 satellites that will be launched in about a year's time. So 4 in total. And so we're really at that initial stage of developing the capability. These are called risk mitigation missions to prove that we know how to build satellites, we can do it. Flight heritage in space missions is very, very important. So our goal at the moment is to build up these spacecraft to prove the technology, and from that point then we'll be commercialising that. And so once we get to that commercialisation process and point in time, we'll be able to I guess, start to answer some of those questions. What you do find with space, though, is that you get 2 responses from people. Either you get a glazed look and people don't quite know what you're talking about, or you get real genuine enthusiasm. And we've actually found that here at the SciBoss conference, that people come to our booth because they have a genuine interest in what's space all about. and they're really quizzing us on, I guess, the technology, what's possible these days, how it's changing, and they themselves are trying to understand also the role that space can play.
And have you seen any major, or what exactly is it that you expect as a support from the financial services sector to make this technology of space help aid this banking and financial sector to the next step?
So certainly the university has funded the process so far, and we are in the process of creating a spin-off company called Skycraft, which will be commercialising the capability of the university. And Skycraft is now actively looking for investments, and we're talking to various entities about that. Now we're not actually here to look for investment directly, but it's more just trying to understand, I guess, the financial industry as a whole, and along the way, if you glean information as to the sorts of levels of investment and the market opportunities, that's what we're really after from the financial industry at the moment. And then we'll see what eventuates. But for us, at the moment, yes, our number one priority is to build up the capability and then to find the money to make it work.
Perfect. So we will like to wish you a skyrocketing future for this space project of yours, and we will like to see more and more banks associated with this projects, more and more NBFCs associated with this project, and hope to see more innovations like blockchains coming out of this project. Wish you all the best for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.